Hello and welcome to this moment where I am getting to hang out with one of my soul sisters, Neema. We got to hang out with New Earth Leader Academy, and we haven't really caught up in a while, and so I'm really excited just to connect with you and see what's happening. So thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. This is my first experience, so I'm really excited. And I think a good theme to start off with is trying things that you're called to do. Because I just got this download yesterday that, for us to do things that we're just called to do. Don't like kind of face fear in its face and feel that excitement and the joy that it comes with. So that's what I'm doing. It's really
Oh,
exciting.
I love that because even like it brings me to like being in the present moment, because like again, like you're whatever you're feeling, like that's the moment. Like there's literally nothing else, and like there really is power in the moment.
I swear, I feel like I'm more in the feminine energy because I really didn't know what the feminine energy was. I thought it was like being girly, but it's really like nurturing yourself in the moment, being present, and going with the flow. And like with my masculine energy, I want action, I want now, I want plans. But now it's like it's there's so much joy now. I can be like feeling all of my senses at the same time. And I've also learned about grace.
Mm.
Do you want to talk about your experience with grace?
Yes, yeah. I would love to. Yeah, I want to hear what yours is.
Well, I was like, I usually put like a word that I don't understand. Like for instance, grace. I never understood how does grace take place, or like how do I explain what grace is, or like what does grace mean in in my flow, like what is that, right? So okay, so I had to first come into this space of clearing out my being, and then I came into this space of acceptance, and then I teeter tottered, with self sabotage, and like that comes with living in the past and going too forward in the future. And then I'm looking for balance. Then I came in this space of balance, right? And what that means. And then when I learned to surrender, so I thought being submissive, I got mixed up with submissive and surrender, what that balance is in between those two. And then how where this manifestation is. There's a gap between when you're manifesting what it is that you want in the midst of your own balance. Then I achieved surrender. And in that gap, there's this grace that comes in. It just like floats in between that space of like letting go and just being in the moment and being like content. Then I came to contentment. Yo, this was a big one. So when I started doing appreciation, then I came in this blissful feeling of contentment. Then I got to experience grace.
Hmm.
This is it. And then my
Wow.
manifestations just kind of like it kind of came out of nowhere. And I understood that gap, that like for people when they hit that separation, when I'm going on a journey, like for instance, this didn't happen with me and you, but because you're so evolved. It's a little different. It's a little different. You're like more of a teacher for me. But like other people that I'm interacting with, we're going along our way. And then, we hit this milestone, right? I hit a milestone with filled of insecurity based on my fears, right? And then this other person hit this mirror because she doesn't live in insecurity. So she got to be free in this space, you see? Then I had to go in this separation, and in the midst of the separation I learned how to clear the space, whatever that took to clear the space, if that took for me to form a new habit or for me to see the beauty of wherever I already am, because that was it, right? Like to see that beauty where I was already am. Then I became this fullness in the space, you right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and then when this fullness hits, this contentment hits, right? And all this overpour happens, and then if the universe chooses for us to continue, but like I felt like that was an end cycle for us, right? And then she
Mm-hmm.
continued to be an empress, and then now I'm forming into my empress, right? She was just like kind of like a nice mirror for me to be like, oh, maybe I could be a 1 ounce of what I experienced in her space, right? And in that essence, in that space. But I wasn't quite ready, and that's okay, because whatever I needed to collect in my like invisible basket, that's part of the journey, right? Everything's invisible, yo. All of our tools are invisible that we're putting in our basket or a box or whatnot. And then we pull them out when we need them. And then we put them back when we don't. And they don't have a weight nor a name, right? So that's how we keep moving. Because once I stay in attachment in that space of labeling and creating more weight, right? Because it's about being lighter on the journey, right? It's just the whole thing is so magical, and then and then we get to do it all over again in different layers, like we're making a cake or something, and like we get to put our sprinkles on top. The sprinkles would be like our own joy that we're experiencing in the experience. It's like it was really cool. And then now I'm like branching off and like just listening to my little calls that I'm getting. So, you know how we always like look for signs, like or like post signs or something. Like I don't know, when you're walking on the street, you see a sign. So like it's kind of like that. So you're walking along your journey, and then you make your desire, but you want a sign that your desire's right. Right? So you ask for signs along the post, and I'm believing now in whatever it is that my senses are picking up is the right sign that I need for that moment. And then I could just drop it away. So journaling would be one I'm gonna label one, okay? So journaling is definitely a good tool that I picked up that I love, because like I got Libra moon Lilith, yo, okay? So I'm bouncing back and forth constantly. And a lot of people don't need to hear all that garbage. So let it put it in the especially the repetitive thoughts. I just put them down in my journal. And sometimes if I feel that it's coming from outside, like an outside form, such as my mom or my dad, it's not to put the blame on the mom and dad. It's the message that I'm getting triggered within them. So what I would do is I would sit down and write down like what is it that I'm hearing that's frequent, right? That's coming from the outside. There's no blame. It's just like I'm trying to pick up where I'm getting these triggers, right? And then I would basically flip the script. So I collect all the negatives, and then I flip the script of as to how I would like to feel in that experience. And that's like helping me jump timelines, like literally quantum jump to another timeline. And I'm getting to re experience with the same people, but by flipping that perception, it's like completely changing that experience. Just like I just didn't think that it would be so impactful.
But, it's like, it's amazing because so many people have been talking about these types of things, right? But, like, when we try to, like, intellectualize it with our mind, it's like, how do I do it? But then when we start to actually embody it, because that's why we're here to embody it and, like, be that light so that, like, everything that we're doing
Mhm.
is actually, like, molding that experience into reality, so
Every
I'm
single thing.
so yeah, I'm so with you. Like when someone will say, like, oh no, or like I'll even like turn it back, right, and be like,
Yeah.
like, what am I, like, am I afraid of something, or is there a
Yeah.
fear here, like what,
Yeah.
and like it really is this like exciting deep dive that we get to do within ourselves, that then is like, whoa, like, how did I not know that, like, this really is this.
It's mine. It's starting in here. It's starting in your heart. It's starting in your own head, in your body, your own feeling that you're kind of pulsating through your whole body. And it's I've always thought, that, okay, maybe it's this person or that person, but it really isn't. It's how comfortable am I feeling with that sensation from that information that I'm receiving? What's
Mm.
happening inside of my internal? How, like, what thought is connected to that sensation, and how comfortable am I with the uncomfortable in that moment? Right? Just finding ways to like kind of release that uncomfortable, or just be with it. Be with it. You know what's really cool? This kind of like, I keep on jumping, yo. But I've been like working a lot with death, okay? Because I do a lot of mediumship readings, and this part's funny. So so like I invite Death to come chat with me sometimes, right? So I'll be like, hey, you guys there? Like, can I talk to a group for today, or can I talk to whoever is representing death? In like Hinduism, it's Yama, and in like Egyptian, I think it's Thou or Set. So like, there's different types of versions of death, right? But it's all the same feeling. So then Death enters the space, and I'm like, and and then I'm like, okay, go away now. But you know what it is? I thought that Death had to make himself be more fluffy like me so that I could be comfortable in the presence of death. But what that taught me, the presence of death taught me that, I'm just gonna say he, because that's like the energy that I felt. Like, he was okay with feeling however the vibration that he needed to feel, because that's what he needed to be, what he needs to be in his essence. And there's completely no judgment there. And I can be my fluffy in my whole existence. And then we can now that I've completely accepted his aura and his energy and whatever vibration, and however uncomfortable I felt in that moment, now when he comes in the face, that's going to be familiar now. Now that vibration is, I know that's him that's coming to visit me, and that's a friend. Do you see? There's no
Mm-hmm.
fear there. It's all love. So that's a different way of dealing with different types of energy, and that's how I've learned to deal with different types of energies when I have to like transition spirit. And like when there's like, a troubled spirit in a home, and that's kind of like causing chaos. I also do spirit extraction, right? So like in the beginning, like the tonality and these kinds of things were a little frightening and off-putting, but that's who they are. So that, why should that offend me? So it's like really like, what's the message that they're bringing to me at the moment that I can learn from? This is
Mm.
how I bring some peace or equilibrium now to the space.
Wow. And it's even like this is how we can like even navigate our realities, right? Like in
With
terms of
being
like
different
all
people that's on our
yeah.
journey. Yes.
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 And instead of like judging them or like they shouldn't do this or this, it's like, oh, how can I like have this entire experience? And then whatever I need to feel, I get to feel because I'm choosing my reality. But
That's
it's
right.
like I've had so many incidences where like I felt like I was judging like a past part of myself that like
Mhm.
was being reflected to me, you know? And then all of
Yes.
a sudden I was like, whoa, I'm so excited to have this experience right now. Like it didn't matter. Like it now I didn't need to like push some kind of projection. Like it was like, okay, like if that's how you want to show up, great, you know, because not everyone can really like navigate this, right?
They
Like in
can't
terms of
meet you
like
where you have met yourself. That's what it is.
exactly.
And it goes to show, not to compare, all right, but it goes to show how much hurdles that you have faced head on and loved completely. Like that's how we heal. We feel all this shit and everything going through all of our chakras, going through our whole being. We relive, the memory or the attachment that's linked to that the feeling that we're held in our system. And then we honor it because it was so like chaotic, like it was crazy, it's wild, yo. It feels wild, it feels wild, it feels great. And then like, you're having all these multiple sensations, and then you come to this place, this peace, yo girl, where you're just like, yeah. you know? And then you're like, fuck, I just want to take a break in between the next one, okay? guys through the universe, but the universe just kind of gives you, sometimes they give you one on top of the next just to see, do you really learn your lesson, or are you gonna go dumb down again, Are you gonna give it to your old shit? Or are you gonna be strong in like your 21 habit deal that you did? I'm thankful for that 21 habit thing. That thing worked.
Totally. And it's like it really is about like the more that we get to know our own self,
Oh,
like and then the more we know ourselves and we know why we're here and what we're meant to do, then it's like, okay, nothing else matters at this point, like who cares what you want
honestly.
to do because we now know where we're being headed. It's like every day, like there's always like multiple realities that we can experience, right? It's like if I choose
Mhm.
this path, like it might go here or here. If I do this path, it might be here.
Oh my gosh, thank God for creative visualization. Right? And like I always like to do the same thing that you do. I put myself in a like pretend box and then I put the person in there. And I go buck wild, because I want because I want to experience all aspects before I actually get in that. And then I can calm myself down, okay? Why not? Why not have all the fun in the aspect? And you know what? The other person has free will. If they choose, what's even more fun when people are really connected to themselves. I'm thankful because when you get in the imaginary box, their higher self takes on. So like it is closest to the real experience on lots of planes. The more plugged in you are within your own realms within yourself, right?
Mhm.
But this thing was really cool too, like which is like the more I'm clearing up my throat chakra, the more like my third eye, my crown get activated. Like I feel like it's bringing like telepathy, like maximize on board the more you do this.
Yeah, like the more that we're like embodying our true self, like
Yes.
saying what we want to say and like not holding back and really being like
And not
full
feeling shame or
transparent.
guilt in the
Yes.
process.
Exactly. Then it's like full on, like just knowing everything, like, I mean, it really is like all of a sudden I'll have a thought and then literally that thought is a reality. I'm like, whoa, like, okay, this can actually be a thing here.
Yeah, you're
Like,
like my
okay.
mouth is really a portal.
Like, hold on, let me really, be intentional with what I share, what I want to say, how am I talking to myself?
That's
Like,
a
it
big one.
really is, yes, talking to yourself. Like, so what are the things that you have found when, like, you're having maybe a moment where you're not talking like your best self, you're talking negatively or, whatever that looks like?
It's fucking ugly, It's fucking ugly. It happened like 2 days ago when I was having my release on the full moon. I'm like, mother, all the Sailor Moon words came out. And then I started having that pity moment where, like, girl, these things always happen. But then something weird and mysterious happened, which is all my, I know, right? All my shadow work like did like a backflip and kicked me in the ass. And then all this like positive reinforcement started coming on board. I'm like, no, you're ruining my pretty party. And so like it's like all my inner work started overriding. So like I'm like, something
Well,
good. And
yeah, no, that's what I'm noticing that too. Like even like maybe like people that you've helped in the past or whatever, like all of a sudden like they're not in your field as often because like now like as you are raising your field like and sometimes it's like, whoa, like is there anyone here, because like when we go there, like there's so many, right? There's so many
yeah.
beings that we're experiencing, but on the human level it gets fun, as we're like it's like we're jumping in and out here.
Another thing I'm realizing is like the before like it where I was where I thought I was showing up like in a negative way, it wasn't really me. So like for instance, I was hanging out with a person. I don't want to say who it was. I was hanging out with somebody, and then these negative, like we're still in retrograde or whatever, so shit's not gonna go 100%, right? Things are
Yeah.
gonna go sideways, and
Yeah.
it's time to have a good sense of humor. You know what I mean? Don't get your undies in a bundle because shit's not gonna work out for you. So so we went to some locations to help. Today I went to set up. I moved from my home business into like an actual business working with a naturopathic. So I'm like really excited about that. So I moved my massage bed in because I do hot stone massage and Reiki. I moved it into the room. But going to the room, this person that I was with, like we end up getting off the wrong floor or something, and they got so mad. They were like, we're on the wrong floor. I'm like, okay, there's only 3 floors. Like, it's gonna be okay. And then like before I thought it was me, like because I interact with this person quite a lot. So I thought the confusion and the fights that were occurring were because of my own confusion. But because of my change of mindset now, maybe we were like that together, but the change of mindset, it shifted in a way that even though they were still having confusion within their being, I was not. I was having humor out of it. Like I thought it was hilarious shit, yo. And then like if my humor was becoming obnoxious, I did settle down a little bit because I don't want to add to the fire.
Yeah.
And like through the whole situation, they still maintain the confusion. So like I was still thankful, and I made sure, inside of my head at the end, I said thank you so much for your time and your energy. And I still maintain the same how I usually am. And then I just detach. So this is the practice. You feel through the whole thing, and then like when it repeats again, because it will, because if you're surrounding yourself by the same experiences, the experience will repeat, because the experience, even though it's no longer held in your being, it's still held in the other that you're choosing to interact with. So that
Mm.
would be the two different timelines reoccurring. So now you as like, or you or me, or you know what I mean, reflection. Um, as you're moving through the space, it's like you're holding more compassion for yourself in that space as you're holding it for them. Because it's only when I realize how to hold the compassion for myself, then I can hold it for another. So this was like
Mm-hmm.
an interesting lesson in this space.
Yeah, because I mean, and it feels like because of all the like light coming in on the planet right now, it's like amplifying everything even more, So all of a sudden, like our physical bodies are changing, our mental, like all the bodies are changing.
Like, do you see? There's no light above me. Look, I'm
And
in a dark room.
you're very
It's
light.
That's what I'm saying. I think when you step outside too, if you go outside and just say I want to be my crystalline to be activated, as use your portal. You must be a generator manifester or something.
Yeah,
And
manifesting generator, I am.
yes, definitely, because like you have to rest a lot, and then this show is perfect for you because it like pings
Yeah.
with your purpose.
Yeah, and I mean it's so great because the more that I just like really just go like show up, like you were saying, like, okay, I wake up, like what do I want to do today? Like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
work my body. I want to like feel, I want to push myself in this way. And then, oh, who will I, meet today? And then it's like, oh, then all of a sudden these people are in my field. And it like really is this way that we're all meant to be, showing up in the way that feels good for us. So I just
And,
love that I'm getting to live this life in this way
right?
because it's really like so important now, especially.
So this is amazing that we're getting to experience our blueprint to the fullest because of our choosing, right? I mean, we all land here whatever time, and it starts ticking. But we're making the best of it as we're going along, you know? And every
Yeah.
single person, like every single person that you come in contact with, you the same way I'm making an impact, you're making an impact on me, like vice versa, and like whoever else that we touch along the way, or whoever chooses to kind of like touch us. Like Spirit just showed me that thing. I have it still. It's like a lamp, those little touch lamps.
Mm-hmm.
And what I used to do to freak out my grandpa is I used to get my friends to line up and for us to attach each other like that, like one hand on top of the other, and then the last person touches the touch lamp, and like five of us down the line, so the sixth person on the end touches the person, and it sets off the lamp. It's just an incredible feeling that we used to get about
Oh my
electricity and
gosh.
how that felt.
Wow. And that's even like our own, bodies, our own beings. Like that's how like when we're like working on ourselves and we go out in the world, like we make such a difference. Like I'm finding the more that I'm like tuning in, like even if I've scheduled something, it's like tune in. Like, does this feel exciting? Do I want to do this? In
That's a
every
main
moment,
one.
you
Do I
know?
want to do this? Yes.
Yes. Because like it can change, and that's what I'm finding, like especially as a manifesting generator, like it literally is meant to be moment to moment to moment. And so the more
Mhm.
that I can tune into those moments, like that's how I've been even doing my training schedule, like as a competitor, or how we've been like in a box, that how you're meant to do this thing, like it's
Mm.
actually like completely like taxing on me if I were to do it that way, so it's like I'm really having to be intuitive and really like clear about what do I want to do today? What is going to light me up? And it's working, like all of a sudden, like all of these things are changing based
Yeah.
on going with how I'm meant to show up, and there's no like deadline. Like that's the other thing. Like the more that I'm just like, it's the moment only. I don't know what's next. Like those moments get better and better and better.
Oh, they're just expanding. I feel like they just keep on expanding in the space. It's so soothing. I love it. Like I'm like, what the hell was I doing before getting myself all worked up for nothing? All this time.
Exactly.
Like I have so much more time that like I've cut out from like people pleasing, energy vampires, like just making agreements with things that don't really truly align with the way that I take care of myself. So like I think that's the bottom line. Like how self-care, that's what they keep on saying. Self-care, self-care. I'm like, what the hell is this self-care? When I started this thing, I'm like, what the heck is these people talking about? I take a shower every day. It's I brush my teeth. Okay, but it's not only that, it's doing it with intention, with love, with purpose, with like presence, all these things that like that's what makes it like magical, right? In the moment.
Yeah, it's so, so good. And so before we wrap up, like anything else you want to drop in terms of like just how others can really like find themselves in this moment?
Oh man, that's a good one. I would have to say your breath. I would definitely check your breath. I've been doing the left and right breathing, which is like
Mm.
the pranayama where you close one of your nostrils and breathe in and then breathe out with you can use like counting if you want, and then you close the other one, then you breathe in and you breathe out. And it just brings everything really, really slow because like I'm a fast talker. And
Mm.
then when I start talking slow, I also be in the present moment. So like kind of pay attention to your own breath. If it's going short, if it's going relax, if it's like pay attention because that's going to tell you what kind of work you really need to be doing in the moment. If you need to slow down, like if you need to pay more attention to your heart, these kinds of things. I feel like then I can pay attention to what's happening on the inside of me when I use my breath, and then I can be in the now. Does it make
Mm.
sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Like I love that. I love it. And so I will put like all the things that you're doing, like your sites and everything at the in the description so that if people are wanting to connect with you and have any readings and just all the amazing things that you're doing. Like, it really, you can see your internal is shaping your reality, because even when we met, like both of us, it's like expand, expand,
Right?
expand, you know?
Oh my God, that was life changing. Your ceremony. You got to do it like another podcast on your ceremony. Like that thing was life changing.
Well, and and then that's what it's like. It's like all the things, right? It's like, even like this past week I got to do a live event, and so it's like, again, like getting to like feel out the room and like really, because it's all about the embodiment of me, and however I'm embodying it, that's how the receiving, right? So the more we work on the inside, oh man, it's even more powerful. Like, I'm gonna be doing that for sure. So
Thank you so much.
yes, so good. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye.